Do you consent to being recorded?
I do consent to being recorded. You heard it here, folks. I have consented to participate in this podcast.
We have hit many a roadblock trying to record this fucking podcast this week.
Well, it's working now, so third time.
Here we are.
Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth time's the charm.
And a day late.
And a day late, yeah. Sorry,
Whoops.
everyone. That's fine.
We had busy. We just had busy weeks.
We had busy weeks. I was traveling, and then I had busy work. Katey had to cover many bouts of breaking news, so...
A bunch of teenagers decided to shoot up the whole fucking city, so that was...
Because they can't go to the mall
pretty chill
anymore.
For me at work, yeah. The mall is just fine. Go get a pretzel. Go get Annie Ann's.
Go get a pretzel, kiddos. Don't
go to the Lego
guns.
store. Don't steal a gun.
Don't steal a gun. Go to the mall.
Don't have a gun.
Don't have a
but
don't
especially
have a gun.
don't steal a gun.
Don't have a gun. That's our stance for teenagers.
Allegedly, they have been charged, but not
yes,
prosecuted, obviously. So
allegedly, some teenagers stole a gun and ran around. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, allegedly.
What they did do is impact my week in a big way, which
yes.
I'm not particularly thrilled about. But it's the job, baby.
It's the job, baby.
That's why I'm here. That's why I make some bucks.
That's why they pay you the bucks.
Some bucks. Not
some
big bucks. But not particularly small ones either. Medium bucks.
Medium bucks. That's often what I'll say. Well, I will usually just say that's why they pay me the bucks. And then it's my running office joke.
Yep,
so.
They pay me middle manager bucks, which is sometimes all you can hope for.
I am grateful for my bucks. They could be so much worse. So.
They could be so much worse, and they have been so much worse, so I am grateful for my bucks. We must point out, we've already acknowledged that we're a day late. We should everyone acknowledge my hat, my tiny fighter hat.
Oh, yes,
It is not the camo hat that you've seen me in the last few weeks. Those medium bucks buy me a lot of hats. I'm a big hat girl. Got a lot of hats. Decided I should probably wear a different one today so that you guys weren't concerned about my emotional attachment to the next of kin hat, but it is my current favorite hat. So.
Or that Katey had just never changed clothes in the last month. She's like a cartoon character.
Before we get into this book, I want to acknowledge the DM that a listener sent us. Let's see, where is this? Okay, so last Saturday I was reading this book at the pool, the Carley Fortune book that we'll be discussing today, and I posted on our Instagram story about it, and our follower, I'm sorry I don't know what your name is, but your username is like A Maisha, so I don't know what your actual name is. Could be that, but you know who you are. So she sent a message saying, all caps, yes. I was dying laughing at you guys when you talked about this book in the Summer Reads episode. I'm a Canadian living in the U.S., and my family just took a trip to Tofino last summer, so it was hilarious listening to you guys talk about it. Huge fan, can't wait for this episode. Love, love, love this book. So we're dumbasses.
Yeah. Sorry to the good people of Canada that we potentially offended.
We didn't know there were rainforests in Canada.
We hear Canada and all we think is cold. So
exactly.
We learned something new. I promise we are educated women, but not about Canada.
Geography is neither of our strong suits.
Absolutely not. You know, I, for the longest time, thought Boston was south of New York City, and I still have to remind myself that Boston is north. So it's fine. I know my strengths in life, and geography will never be one of them. That's fine. Spatial awareness, that kind of spatial awareness. I think I'm spatially aware in terms of my body. But
yeah, you're directionally challenged in a variety of ways, some of that being geographical.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it that you pointed out that I'm a bad driver because I'm bad at directions and I don't know where I'm going?
Because you're not a bad driver. You just don't. You're just not spatially aware in that way.
Yeah, you're
It's
right. I
not a
have
skill. It's not a skill issue. It's a knowledge issue.
yeah,
Well,
there
that
I
makes you
have
sound dumb, but you know what I'm trying to say.
no, no, no. I have two routes that I have memorized, I think. Your house, it's 3 turns, so nothing impressive.
We do
Uh,
live off of the same street.
yes.
5
And
minutes away from each other. 3 red
yes,
lights.
yes. That's exactly why I have it memorized. And I do have the route to the gym memorized. So, which is a little bit more complicated. It
Also
makes
like 3 turns.
3 turns that are far apart. So, and then the route to my guitar lessons because it's literally a block away.
I was going to say that's across the street.
Yeah, but again, look, hey, it's another route in dude, I don't even have the route to like Austin's work memorized. Like I Google Maps is my security blanket. It is what it is. It's
Yeah,
okay. It's
it's fine.
you know.
It is
Thank
a
you for
great
your
reason for you to forever passenger princess.
you are so right. But to our dear listener, thank you for your message. That is very funny.
Yeah, sorry
I
it's late, especially to you, who
yes.
has been anxiously awaiting it. Yeah, sorry we're dumb. Uh,
It is what it is.
Turns out there's a rainforest in Canada. I will say, I mean, reading Carley Fortune books does make me want to go to Canada. Like, I really want to go to Prince Edward Island after reading like the first few Carley Fortune books. It sounds like lovely. This sounds fucking awesome where they were
Yes.
in this book. It sounds awesome.
Okay. On that note, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Our Perfect Storm by Carley Fortune. I was writing it down and I was like, what storm are we talking about? I feel like I read another oh wait. Oh, these
There
summer
was rain.
storms I read. Yes, there
Oh,
was
yeah.
rain. No. No, I kept getting it confused with a different book I read, and that was These Summer Storms, which I read last year, and I would recommend. It was fun.
I still haven't read
Um,
it. I have it. I still haven't read it.
it's
For
good
some
family
reason,
drama.
I do keep forgetting the name of this book. I don't know why.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me. Maybe just it feels like, and I say this with no like malice or anything. It's like it feels like a fake book title, like one you would see like in a TV show or something, maybe, or just
It
a generic
also,
romance title.
yeah, it also feels not like aligning with the other books, which I think pretty much all have summer in the title. There's like Every Summer After,
Yes.
One Golden Summer. I don't remember what the fuck else, but like I so this I keep wanting to call it Our Perfect Summer because that feels like it aligns, but they very much do
Yes.
not have a perfect summer. Shit is
Now,
bad.
shit is bad. So, we start the book at Frankie and Nate's wedding, and
At like the
the
rehearsal dinner or like welcome
yeah,
party or something of that ilk.
and she is concerned that her best friend George is not going to come and be her best man. And so she's spending the dinner like looking for George basically. And then George does come, but we know George does not like Nate, and the last time they saw each other, they had a very big fight. And at the like beginning you don't know what the fight is, but like you kind of know.
Yeah.
And so the dinner like basically goes well. Like Frankie is super happy that George is there. She's excited to marry Nate, who's a professor that's like 13 years older than her. She's a chef. George is a journalist, which I'm sure we will talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, and then she wakes up the next morning and Nate has dumped her via hotel stationery. So she understandably like loses her shit. George and her family like come pick her up. She crashes with her friend for a month and then basically like moves back home and is not super thrilled about it, but she was obviously living with Nate and she also misses George, so I think she's got like no money, no place to
Yeah.
live, no stuff. There's not a lot of options at that point. And she was sleeping on her friend's couch. So what are you going to do but move home?
Things are bad for Frankie when
Things
we
are
meet
bad
her.
for Frankie. And also that she talks about how things have kind of shifted between her and George over the past few years, where they met when they were 8 and have formed a very codependent friendship. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
so basically this turns into the honeymooners a little bit. Where George is like, let's go on your honeymoon. He comes back into her life after one of he's like a travel writer, or we don't really figure out what he really like writes about.
Right.
Just
Like
that
he mentions.
he does he's like like I don't know if he's a travel journalist, but he's a traveling journalist.
Yes. I think they specify at some point that he's like an environmental journalist and like
Yeah.
reports on climate change and things like that, which
Yeah.
makes sense because one of his big things that he had to do was report on the major fires in Canada in
Mm-hmm.
2023. And that's kind of a thing that comes up multiple times, is that he was gone for like multiple months and it was really dangerous and scary. And yeah. And now I don't think he reports on fires anymore in the book,
Yeah, we
but
never really find out like kind of like we get the environmental piece and we get that he's traveling a lot, but we don't really get like what he's doing in these places necessarily, or like what he's
yeah.
writing, why he's going to Mexico and to,
Right.
wherever. Yeah, I don't know.
I know. I was like, what is he
Sounds
doing in
awesome though.
Mexico? Yeah. We don't get to do that. So
I'd love to
that's
do
fine.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, George is like, all right, you want to go on an adventure? We're going to go on your
Yeah.
honeymoon.
Stop
And
being a sad sack and we're gonna go on your honeymoon. Yeah.
she kind of has no choice.
Yeah,
So
he kind of bullies her into it, which is
yeah.
the right move, because at this point it's been like a couple months or something since
Mm.
I don't remember exactly how long, but it's been a few months since the like non-wedding, and basically George is like, enough fucking moping, like
Let's
we're
go.
we're going to the rainforest.
We're going to the rainforest.
Yeah.
So, which, yes. So they go to Tofino, which
Hmm.
again, as we learned, a rainforest in Canada. And okay, yeah, this place sounds fucking awesome where they end
It
up going
sounds
to
so
stay.
cool. Yeah, like the area itself sounds awesome. The resort, I don't know if this is based on some real resort that's there, sounds incredible.
They've got like a villa that's fully stocked with food and
Two
wine.
stories.
2 stories. There's a bathtub. There are rose petals everywhere, as mentioned multiple times. I don't like that, but so but yeah. Oh, a hot tub. It's like right by the beach. Like, damn. All right. This is, yeah. Not too shabby.
There's a
Also,
hammock somewhere. I love a hammock.
ooh, I forgot about the hammock. Her
Yeah.
ex-fiance is paying for it still. So, she's getting like a
Out of
freebie.
guilt.
Yes, which yes, that's deserved.
Which,
So,
to be fair, like, yes, he dumped, which, and we'll talk more about this later, which, like, yes, he dumped her the day of or the day before their wedding or whatever. But, like, to his credit, he handles the aftermath of it fairly well. Like, it seems like he's, like, legitimately concerned about her well-being. And then being like, still go on this trip. I will pay for it. It will be good for you. I'll take care of everything. Like, he doesn't say that to her explicitly, but like, she finds out that that is like what he wants. And so, like, don't get me wrong, horrible thing for him to do. And we find
yes.
out why later on. But he kind of tries to do the right thing to make up for ruining her life as much as he can.
Yes. And it was very kind of strange at the beginning of the book where Frankie is going through the aftermath of being dumped and she like meets him for dinner and
Mm-hmm.
I understood later, but I was like, are we really not going to get like a great explanation from him of
Right.
like why he dumped her? Like it takes a long time, which for good reason when we do figure out why,
Right.
but we don't see them like it's not a real scene of the book where they meet for dinner. She's like saying that he comes and is very like he doesn't offer explanation really.
Yeah.
And
He
so
apologizes but doesn't explain.
right. And so she goes through the couple months being like, oh, I must have done something. I don't know what, but what did I do that he didn't like?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of her inner turmoil.
Yeah.
And so George has kidnapped her, basically, but willingly, to Tofino, and he has a whole plan that he refers to as the plan, where he did a lot of research on like how to get over a breakup, like talk to a therapist, like kind of crazy,
I
but
find this very endearing despite
oh, it's
being
very yes.
insane.
No, it's very endearing. Like he's also like printed everything out, like paper,
I'm like, get
physical
an iPad,
paper.
dude. Why did you print all this out?
It's you know what? It's way easier to flip through a pad of paper or a packet of
You're
paper
right.
than it is through an iPad. So I
If I had
appreciate
if I did something like this, I would probably print it out as well. If it were something
bring
I was going to
back
like constantly reference.
tangible
Yeah.
items. Bring back
Yeah.
tangible items.
Yeah,
That's
mine's in the
my
other room, but yeah.
oh man. Okay, as a very quick aside, walking around New York last weekend where there were so many there was one ad that was like stop hiring humans, hire Ava the AI bot. And I was like, Ava, I'm going to kill you. Like having an ad that says stop hiring humans so you can hire an AI bot just feels so genuinely like evil to me.
Yeah.
So that was bleak. Anyway, I'm on a real please stop proving to me a computer exists every second of my life. I'm
Right.
exhausted.
Right.
So that's my
Yeah.
soapbox right now.
Yeah, this week I guess it was Tuesday night maybe. So I had my crazy work days on Sunday and Monday for the most part, and like it continued to be busy, but that was when we got through the like breaking news of it all. And after I worked out on Tuesday night, I went over to Phil's house because I was like, I feel insane. Like I need to like just like brain dump to my boyfriend. Um, and like he turned on he had ordered us Panda Express, which like the way to my heart is an orange chicken bowl from Panda Express, especially when I don't know it's coming and I have just done cardio. Give me the fucking orange chicken. It
That
was
sounds so good
incredible.
right now.
It was incredible. Um, but like we sat down to eat, and normally we'll, put some stupid shit on in the background or whatever. And he turned on the TV and I had like a like visceral reaction to a screen. I was like, I cannot. Can we just sit here and either talk or not talk and just eat? Like I can't be in front of a screen right now. I've been in front of a screen for too many hours this week. Like I cannot do this.
I'm feeling this way about like movies and things that I will watch too, where like we were watching, I don't know, like the Avengers last week or
Mm-hmm.
something, or Thor Ragnarok. And I was like, this is so like CGI'd to hell that it's like, give me real humans.
Right.
Which like I did just, obviously I've been watching not obviously, I've been watching The Boys, which also is like moderately
CGI, yeah.
CGI. Yeah, but again, like I was like, man, bring back a real human movie. And then I went to the draft house and I got angry, which is neither here nor there, so I won't get into
Yeah.
that rant. But just know I have canceled my season pass.
Me
So
too. We're anti-Alamo, sorry.
yeah.
Not sorry. Actually, this is how
No,
change
you know what? No.
happens.
Yeah, we're not sorry. Actually, we are anti Alamo Draft House. I am very upset about it. Yep. Don't want to go back. I'm going to
Yeah.
go to a fucking AMC and walk up to the counter and order my popcorn like a normal person now.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed. I
So,
want a big chamoy pickle.
oh, an icy and some popcorn and a box
Fuck
of
yeah.
candy. You know what?
Oh,
We
and
never needed that cauliflower anyway.
we can go to the movie theater in the mall so then we can walk around after.
We can get a pretzel.
We can get a
See?
pretzel. We can go to the Lego store.
Wow. See what we
Life
were
is
missing
good.
out on? Life. Uh-huh.
Who
Yeah.
needs Alamo Draft House?
Who needs Alamo Draft House? That's our official stance there. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway. Back to the rainforest.
Yes. So like George has this whole plan that goes day by day, and they're on this trip for, is it 7 days? 9 days?
7 days.
Yeah.
And
So
they each
each
have, like, a
day has like
theme.
a theme, yeah, where it's like these stages of grief and getting over that he has made up essentially, or like
Yeah, educationally made up. You know,
educationally made up. Yeah.
he did a lot of research, but yes, so like the first day is wallow, and then
Yeah.
there's another day that's like reflection or stuff like that. And
There's one of
then
them that's like, I think it's the second day that's like moving your body or whatever.
yes,
Like, yeah. So
movement, something like
they're
that.
they're all really smart things. Like I remember when I was reading this, I was like, I kind of wish I had read this. Like I wish this book had come out like around the time I was getting divorced, because just the titles of the chapters that were like day 1 wallowing, day 2 movement. Like obviously you can't compress getting over something into 7 days, but having those sort of like stages laid out for me might have been quite helpful for me at the time,
Yes.
because it was sort of what I ended up doing, not necessarily in that order, but I did do pretty much all of those things. So,
It was a good like truncated plan of like, all right, here's 7 days to do these things. And like, no, I might not be like fully healed by the end of it, obviously,
right.
but like, oh,
We're going
this
to
is like,
speed run it a little bit.
we're
Yeah.
gonna speed run it a little bit. This is purposeful. So, which I appreciated. So,
Yeah. I just, if you saw me bend over, it was just because I put my foot down and there was a dog under it, and I had to
oh
check
well,
which one, because one is
which
way more squishable than the other one.
a fragile being.
A fragile
So,
being. Yeah. Yeah, so they also like kind of pretend to be married, like they just go along with the like, yeah, we're on our honeymoon thing to try to get as much out of the situation as they can, which like duh,
yeah.
obviously. Um
And they kind
I'm
of
I'm
just
looking at your notes here. Abigail wrote the outline for this episode, and she wrote, "He's planning everything, making veiled remarks that clearly show, all caps, he is in love with her, but Frankie is kind of a dummy," which sums it up well.
yes. So yeah, he's like planning all of these like incredible outings for her, like calling in favors, like
Mhm.
uh the the guest experiences guy named Kevin is like going all out, really like really pulling out all the stops. And George will like stare longingly at Frankie, say things like there's lots of things you don't know about me.
Like,
And then
hello?
and she's like, "Huh, I am so happy to be with my friend George."
My
And
best friend, and that's it.
yes, yes, nothing more. He doesn't feel that way. Like I'm like, "You're an idiot." Like,
Yeah, so
Frankie,
there's also like the
come
very
on.
the very typical like friends to lovers aspect of like you haven't seen your friend in a long time, and suddenly like you're like, wait, is my friend kind of hot?
Yes, George is hot.
Yeah.
George is hot.
Yeah.
He's got glasses and he's muscly and he's got dark hair and he's tall. He's hot.
He's hot.
So,
They also have their names tattooed on each other, which is sweet but crazy.
it is when they mentioned this at like the very beginning of the book, I was like, that's a crazy thing to do. It reminded me of gosh, now I can't remember the title. Oh, In the Night We Met, where
Mm,
Chris would do some of the stuff, and I'm like, buddy, you're crazy. Calm down.
too much.
They
Yeah.
we get the story of them getting the tattoos later, and it does make a little bit more sense because
And
they're
they
like
were quite young.
18.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
quite young. Um, but I don't even think at 18 I would have got like I would have gotten like a best friend matching tattoo. I have several matching tattoos with several of you, my best friends. But
Not
I
a
would not
name.
I don't think even at 18 I would have gotten so like Sydney, my longtime best friend since middle school. I don't think I would have gotten her name tattooed on me then. I don't think I would get her name tattooed on me now. I would not get your name tattooed on me. Like
I like that there's a difference between my name and Sydney's name. Like,
I wouldn't get
I
I
don't
wouldn't get
think.
either of your names.
No, I don't tattoo somebody's name on you generally, I think is a good
No.
rule of thumb.
Like I
Also, they
maybe
got.
would if you like died tragically in an accident, and but even then like I would probably
No,
just
there's
get
better
some other
ideas.
tattoo to memorialize you, not like
Right.
Abigail in like script. Like ew.
Like one of those mall spray painted t shirts.
Yes.
Like, make sure it's really big too. No.
Yeah. She's
They
gonna get your
also,
face.
please, that's exactly what I want, but like a really like botched
A really embarrassing
version.
photo of you.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, great. Perfect. Yeah. All right, great. All right. Everyone hold Katey to this. If something, no, actually, I don't even want to put that on the universe. I'm knocking on wood right now.
I should get
This
the
is
one of
never
you
gonna happen
the one of you laid down
at my
at the
bachelorette party.
no. Oh, that's also good. But at the Yellow Jackets thing at South by last year
Oh,
when you pretended to be dead. I'm just gonna get that.
oh, one of my finest moments,
It's
truly.
really
That
funny.
is a good one.
There's also one from that day where you're
Oh,
like
that would
making a funny gesture, which is also good.
that yeah, both feel my general state of being at any
If you
point.
get one of
So
me, you should get the one of my enchilada falling off my fork. Like
yeah.
cheese midair
Oh man, I can't believe I caught that on camera. Truly, in a live photo
in a
too.
live photo,
So
and it is your husband's favorite sticker of me to use in our group chat now, which
and
I appreciate, I guess, because there are
yes,
some
well,
worse ones.
there are worse ones. There are worse. Also, okay, they also got their names tattooed on their rib cages, which is like a sexy spot for a tattoo of somebody
Yeah.
else's name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's also like especially like the connotations that come along with like it would be different if they were like girl best friends, but the
Mm.
connotation that comes with like as a woman having as a straight woman having a man's name tattooed on you, and then when you're sleeping with other men, are they like who the fuck is George? You know, like
Yes, they
I feel
are.
like I would just, and maybe at 18 years old, you're not thinking this far ahead, right? But like, I'm like, I just wouldn't want to have that conversation with people,
No, I would
you
not.
know? I'd be like, or I like when, as life went on, I would be like, George is my dog,
George,
was my dog, my childhood dog. That's it. Don't ask questions. And again, like, even if I had your name tattooed on me for whatever reason, I wouldn't want people to be like, who is Abigail? And then I was kind of embarrassing.
yes, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know.
And I
Yes,
have
it
a
is.
pickle tattooed on me.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's embarrassing. And the name is
That
embarrassing. The pickle's not embarrassing.
that yeah. Your your standards for embarrassment of your tattoos are fascinating, but I understand. I'm picking
I
up what you're
am
putting
who I
down.
am.
Yeah. That yeah, okay. Anyway, so they just kind of vibe for a long time, and yeah, exactly as I put in my notes. He's clearly in love with her.
Yeah.
Uh and finally they like while this is all kind of happening and they're doing, they like learn to surf and go to this cool like springs situation. Like again, sounds awesome. Carley Fortune should be on the tourism board of Tofino
Of
and
all of
Canada in
Canada.
general. Yeah. But
Tofino and Prince Edward Island.
yes. So at one point they go to a nice dinner and Frankie is like trying to say some nice things to George, and she kind of is like thinking like, wow, this is so amazing, like I'm so happy because they used to live together, like in their like 18 to 22 they lived together and are like child like have been like best friends. And she's like, wow, this is so nice to be together. Maybe we should get married and have one of those weird platonic like sexless marriages. And
Yeah, it
because
feels sort of like the 30-year-old's version of like if we're single when we're whatever age, we'll end up together or whatever.
right. And because, like, I think even, like, right before this, he says something like, because I think she says something like, we should just be together. And he's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh? And then she's like, yeah, but, like, never touch. And he's like, he gets upset, as he should, and, like,
And Frankie's
storms
like,
out.
"What? I wonder why that hurt his feelings."
What? And she was like, oh, maybe it's because I don't, like, her explanations don't make any sense.
No.
And
At no
he,
point does she land on maybe he's into me.
yeah. And the next day, I think it's the next day where they finally actually kiss.
Yeah.
And I did not write down the page number. That was my bad. But it was more than 50%. It was
It was
more than
more than
halfway through.
50%. Yeah.
So I think it was like around 275. This was a 403-page book. So do the math. It was more than
Yeah.
half, though. So they finally kiss in a rainforest. It's very romantic. Also, this is not necessarily like dual timeline, but at points in the book, we do get to go back in time to different points of their lives where, when they've kissed one time before and George made Frankie promise to never do it again. Or like when they first met, or memories of like when like little ones sprinkled throughout. It's not like a 1-to-1
Yeah.
scenario. So she like asks his permission, and then they have a heavy makeout in the rainforest, and then they like get in the car and they're like, maybe we shouldn't do that again. Which, okay, sure.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. And
Because they're both like, fuck, 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 fuck.
yes, and
Presumably
okay.
they both are. We know Frankie's kind of like, fuck, 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 fuck.
Right. I will say like one thing that actually, a Friends to Lovers, generally I do enjoy. It's not my favorite, but I do generally enjoy. And when I don't enjoy it, especially, is when it's so much of them like tiptoeing around each other. And I
Yeah.
do think that as they were coming together, as they were like getting together, Carley Fortune does a really good job of putting the gravity of the situation onto the page. And I think that was like the first time I really like, oh, I like in this book, but also like I feel like in a romance in general, where I was like really understanding how big of, and this is like when they're having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
Which like I'll go back to in a second. But like really, I think she does a really great job of being in Frankie's head as when she finally like makes the decision and like voices it out loud.
Yeah.
But at that point, as they're like, so they kiss. Frankie is doing some reflection. I think it's on the want day
Mm-hmm.
where Frankie is kind of thinking about like what does she want, and she finally goes downstairs when they're about to go to dinner and is like, George, I think I want to be with you. And I would like today to be like our first date, which was really cute.
It
And
was.
it was really, really cute. And then also when I was like, all right, good job, Frankie. You've become less of a dummy to me now. So they go on
Yeah,
this like, yeah.
I did really appreciate how, like, they did have, like you said, like, Carly Fortune does a really good job of writing this, like, moment where, like, they kiss and then they, like, kind of not regret it, but just, like, need to take a beat to assess what's happening. And I feel like in a lot of Friends to Lovers books, that moment can happen, like, two or three different times. Like they'll kiss and be like never again, and then kiss again and be like never again, and it's all this back and forth, and no one, like you said, everyone's tiptoeing around it. No one's really talking about like, should we do this? What are the consequences of us doing this? What are the consequences of not doing it now that we've already kissed? Like whatever. And I feel like the characters in this book kind of just like handle the situation like head on, and are also just kind of like, like we understand the risks, but also let's just see what happens and be honest with each other, which I feel like is the realistic way to deal with it, and the way that like people in real life, not in a romance novel, would probably deal with it. And so so I appreciated how straightforward the entire thing was, and like you said, Frankie's ability to be like, I think I want you. What if we just tried this? Like,
Yeah, what if we try?
what if we just saw what it was like, and then like, because I think they both feel secure enough in their friendship that they're like, I'm sure we can figure it out on the other side if
Mhm.
this doesn't work out, like like with this sort of friendship, like like my friendship with Sydney and my friendship with you, like there's nothing that's going to fuck this up. So it's like, you have that security there of, well, you're
Right.
stuck with me no matter what.
Yeah.
So so if this doesn't work out, then we'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good point too. And one I hadn't like, cause there were points where I was getting, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but yeah, where I was like, Frankie, he's clearly like so in love with you.
Yeah.
And of course, like if she realized that immediately, we wouldn't have a book. So like,
Right.
what am I going to, I can't will the book to not exist. but when she does make the decision, that is when I feel like everything becomes a lot more like logical, at least in my mind. I think like when
Hmm.
I think about um as like I've talked again, I guess the way my relationship started was a little more weird because it was like COVID.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I will tend to simplify things in my head of like, well, if you want to be together, just be together. Like, what's the
Right.
problem? Make it work. And that's not, I think a lot of times that's true. I think we all complicate things sometimes to a degree that's not necessary,
Yeah.
but also sometimes it's not that simple. And I
Right.
think that's what I really appreciated about this book was that once they did decide to try, all of those kind of insecurities or the gravity again of this choice like was really well written and well put to the page in
Hmm.
Frankie's kind of thoughts as they're on this date, as they're going back to the villa and they're like kind of about to have sex and George kind of like stops her and is like kind of very like he doesn't necessarily say like this is too fast for me, but he's kind of like hold on, like I got to take a beat, man.
Yeah.
And they don't sleep together, right? They do the next day a lot, but it was like they've both tried to like almost like enjoy each step of them doing this
Yeah.
where I think also sometimes in romances, and I think we've said this before too, it's like, oh, you just had your first kiss and 30 seconds later you're banging. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And this was very much like, I wouldn't say it was slow paced, but once they got together, but
Right.
yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like Abigail said, they hook up the next day and then they hook up and they hook up and they hook up and they hook up. And then on um toward the end of the trip, they go on a whale watching like expedition, which is a huge deal for Frankie because Frankie has a really complicated relationship with her mom because at one point her mom left her family when she was a kid to go, I think it was for like a year and a half, yeah, something like that. It was like a good stretch of time um, because she was trying to study whales and wanted to study whales. And so she left to go like try to pursue her dreams and then came back because it didn't work out. She missed her family, whatever. So Frankie, for a long time, has held that against her mom and has also held it against the whales, which I'm like, the whales didn't do anything. Like, don't be
It's
mad at
not the
them.
it's not the whale fault. She's
Yeah.
also named after a whale.
Yeah.
So,
So there's a lot of like complicated like identity and family issues wrapped up in this, but then she goes and sees these whales. She has this like incredible experience which like anybody who's been whale watching can tell you like the moment that you see like when I went on like my first whale watching like boat tour thing in Boston. The second we saw a whale, which it was just like the tiniest little like hump of a whale, I just immediately burst into tears because it's like you don't see those animals in real life, like and so like seeing them like out in the wild like that, it's like very overwhelming, even if you don't have the emotional attachment that someone like Frankie has to these animals. Like just I like it's just very, very moving. And so I imagine having all these complicated feelings about it. Like, yeah, like Frankie has like a big emotional reaction to the whales.
yes, I really liked this scene too in that like it felt very much in Frankie's head in a understandable way and you do start to kind of understand more about like the pain that she's kind of held on with her relationship with her mom and her uh um what's the word, misplaced disdain for the whales.
Yeah.
And then she does see them and yeah, I have never been whale watching. It is something that I think I would really love to do because yeah, I have no concept of a whale. I've never seen a whale.
That
I've
shit's
seen
big in real life. It is so crazy to be on a boat and be like, that is a humpback whale. It is so fucking big.
yeah, like ugh. Yeah, it like I can't even like really fathom it because
Yeah.
yeah, what do I see in real life that is the same as a whale?
Yeah.
So,
Like I think a lot about when I went snorkeling in Belize and we found that manatee, and you don't realize how big manatees are either.
mm,
Like it's like the size, like it was the length of this room, and this is like the master bedroom in this apartment. So it's like, I don't know, 10, 12 feet, like if not more. And it was like
mm,
longer than this room, and obviously like real big around. And
yeah,
you're just like a little human floating in the water next to it. And then like thinking about seeing that manatee, and then like times a billion is a humpback whale.
yeah,
Like
ugh,
it's so crazy.
yeah. So, yeah, yeah, I want to see some whales someday. That sounds really cool. I want to go cry at a whale. I do think I would cry. I'm not a crier, but
You would, yeah.
yeah, I do think I would cry at a whale. So,
Yeah, it's an overwhelming experience.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so they have a really nice day, and then things go bad because they have to go bad at some point in the book. That's how this works.
yes,
But I will say, I know we talk all the time about like the third act conflict in these books, and this one did not piss me off. This was a reasonable, I felt like it was all handled appropriately. This is a reasonable thing to have happened. It like yes, it was miscommunication based, but not it wasn't something stupid like we normally get in a lot of romance novels of like, why didn't you just tell this person about this thing? Because I 100% understand why George didn't tell Frankie about this thing.
yes.
Should he
So,
have? Yes, but I get why
yes.
he didn't.
Well, the way it all kind of came out was like a little bit convoluted, but like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Where Nate had sent her a gift of a very nice chef's knife and like a recipe journal to the villa, and the guy's like dropping it off, and so she opens it up and it's got a note in there, and she like calls Nate and uh like thanking him, and I can't even really remember if she's like questioning him all that much or whatever, but so and then George comes in through the back door and is like asking Frankie a question, and Nate hears him and goes, "Is that him?" And Frankie's like, "What? Like what do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I can't say like this doesn't hurt, but and then it basically comes he's like, "You should ask George why we're not together."
Mm.
And Frankie's like, uh, okay. And then hangs up. And so what comes out is that the night before their wedding, as Frankie went to bed, Nate and all the other dudes were hanging out. And George was kind of big dogging him, where he was like proving to Nate in a way that that Nate does not know Frankie at all. And eventually says something like, "You will never understand the way that I love her," or something like
Hmm.
that. Like something very like big and dramatic because he's drunk, and he does say he's like, "I took an edible too, and I was drunk, and I was like upset," and it also like Frankie's brothers were there, so like this happened like very publicly, but obviously
Yeah.
Frankie had no idea. So she is right to be
Yeah, it
upset.
sounds like they were like broing out and everyone was drunk, and then this just kind of came up during the boys' time, which
Yes.
this is why men should not hang out in large groups alone.
There needs to be a referee, a
Yeah.
woman referee at every hangout. Well,
Chaperone.
chaperone, yes, yes, that's the way to put it. So, uh so yeah, Frankie is pissed that George did not fess up that he was in love with her, which I'm kind of like, well, okay, sure. And then also pissed that she had spent all this time thinking she did something, and actually George did something to tank her marriage. Uh, this was also very kind of Sex in the City movie where Miranda says to Big, "You guys are crazy for getting married," and then Big
Yeah.
runs away the next day. Different flavors, same kind of concept. Big be running away,
Big
so
B running away.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but like with this, I'm like, okay, like at what point was George going to tell her? Not right after. Like
right.
she needed to grieve. not while they're on this trip, and they didn't see each other in the interim. So like I can't really blame him for like trying to wait for the opportune moment, like maybe when they get back or like whatever. But if I'm putting myself in Frankie's shoes, I would also be fucking furious that he didn't tell me. Like I see both
Right.
sides of it in this
Yeah.
situation.
Right. So they go back to, which I can't remember what their hometown is. And Frankie goes back home and kind of tells her mom a little bit, because she had told her mom, like, I think George and I are gonna like be together. And her
Mm-hmm.
mom, like, this is also a very nice repairing of her relationship with her mom, like, as this stuff is going on. And so when she gets back home and is kind of like rightfully upset, and I think all of her family members are like, no, we understand why you're upset, but like,
Yeah.
also, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah.
So they're all playing a good part of, we're gonna let Frankie work this out, but we're gonna hopefully nudge her in the right direction.
Yeah.
And um, so she has some really good conversation, and then she kind of, George is on his trip to Mexico, and she kind of gets it out. I don't know if gets it out of her system is like the right way to put it, but like she thinks about it and is like, no, I still want to be with him,
Yeah.
and goes to their special place and like leaves a note for him, which he starts responding to. And I thought this
Yeah.
was actually so interesting that they don't see each other for a few days despite being in the house next door to each other and just exchanging notes,
Yeah.
where was very, very sweet and very interesting, and also like, like we've been talking about, very intentional on their part.
Yeah, like I don't recall if Frankie says like, "Hey, I need a little more time" or whatever, but like George lets her set the pace and like lets her decide when she's ready to like see him again and talk about things again. Like it's just very yeah, it's very intentional, it's very sweet and it like becomes very evident. Obviously, it's been evident throughout the book, but it like continues to be very evident like how much they care for each other even outside of a romantic relationship, just caring for each other like as human beings who respect each other and appreciate each other.
Yeah, I think Frankie says to her mom at one, or no, I think it's while she's talking to her mom and she's kind of thinking about it, and um she's thinking something like, I love that I know he's there, and I love that he is giving me the space that
Yeah.
he knows I want and need right now. Like, he knows me well enough to know that we're doing the right thing in this, and like maybe it is a little odd, but that this is what's best for both of us right now, and it we're moving in the right direction. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Yeah, so then they reconnect and then happy ever after the end basically. Like
Yay! The end.
they Frankie joins George in traveling the world and they get married and life is good for George and Frankie. You love to
Life is
see it.
good for George and Frankie. Yeah. It
Um,
it yeah. That happy ever after. Yay.
happy
So,
ever after. Okay, so it sounds to me like you enjoyed this book more than the other Carly Fortunes that you've read.
yes, I do think it could have been shorter, but
Yes,
I did
but I had
enjoy,
fun the
yes.
entire time. I wasn't mad that
Yes.
it was long, but I do think it could have been shorter.
Yes. No, I do think and it's been a minute since I've read the other two that I have read. But, and I know we said this last time we talked about Carly Fortune, but like there's a great sense of place in these books.
She
Um,
writes she writes scenes and scenery
mhm.
so well, which I think is like one thing like you joke that like she should work for the tourism board, but like genuinely like for one thing, I like obviously I knew about Prince Edward Island before I started reading Carly Fortune because oysters, they're my
Yeah.
favorite oysters. I love a PEI oyster; it's my fave.
Yep.
Um, I also was just obviously aware of it being a place. But like Tofino, we had never clearly we had never heard
Clearly.
of before. And she does such a great job of like capturing how like idyllic these places really seem to be and how much they mean to her personally and how much they mean to the people who visit those places and who live in those places. Um, so she has like not only is she a very skilled writer with place, but it comes through in the books like the level of appreciation and love and care that she has for these places, which you can't really fake. Like
Right.
it seems very genuine, and that's one of the things that I have always really liked about her writing. And she also, I feel like, similarly captures like melancholy and depth of feeling in a really powerful way, especially when so many of her books, if not all of them, have centered really heavily around nostalgia or like returning to a place that you grew up or returning to a person that you grew up with. Like that's a running theme throughout all of these books. Um, and I think that's something that everyone can relate to because whether it's Canada or not, like everyone had a childhood friend, whether they're still in touch with them or whatever. Everyone had a childhood friend that, they were really tight with, or they had a vacation place that they always visited in their childhood, or that, everyone has this sense of nostalgia that she taps into really well with these places that she clearly has nostalgia for. And it just translates so well to the reader, I feel like. And that's one of the things that I really love about her books, even when I've been kind of mad at some of her plot decisions.
I think that's fair. No, I think you're so right that that's not something that you can fake. And when we joke about people writing about Texas who have never been here or don't like, you know, don't don't live here or don't love it the way that we do. And there is such a sincerity in a lot of, yeah, like you were saying, in the way that she writes about these places, in that she cares about them and she wants to show it
Hmm.
to you as well as a reader. Like, even if I may never set foot in Tofino, I would like to now, certainly.
Yeah,
uh
shoot.
but who's to say if that ever happens? But
Yeah.
that is a very powerful thing. And like the parts of the book that I did really enjoy, even though I think sometimes I have more inside cat tendencies perhaps, but like you were saying, the way she writes about these places and their kind of landscapes and their settings, is really really impressive. And yeah, just how much it also is impacting the characters, like, while they're there. And you know, and it was a little heavy-handed to me that both times they had sex, that there was storms going on. The first time I was like, great, I get it. This is cool. That makes sense. They're
Yeah.
still like in bed, and then it happened again, and I was kind of like, all right, we're done. But that's such like a minor thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that I did maybe miss from this book, was we heard a few times about Frankie's temper, and we
Hmm.
don't I never really felt like we actually saw it. And I thought that when we would see it would be when she was confronting George,
Hmm.
but she actually did it in a very like mature and reasonable way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was kind of like we were meant to see it as character growth, but we never had a scene where she really like lost her temper and said something that she regretted. Like,
Yeah.
even when she and George fight about her getting engaged. And like, but George, of course it's George, but we get reference to a fight that she had with Nate, but we don't see it. And so
Yeah.
I think that's like maybe one of the things that I would have liked to see, is that we had this piece of her character that we had reference to a lot, and like her bitterness at her mom and things like that, but we don't really see it. And I guess like maybe I also don't want to in a way
Right.
too. Like, I don't want to see Frankie lash out at the people she loves, but I do think maybe it would have like helped demonstrate some of her like character development as she's, moving through a breakup and moving through wanting to be with George and moving through trying to repair her relationship with her mom. So, I think that would probably be like my major note.
Yeah. I didn't really clock that in the same way that you did. I sort of interpreted it as like she and Nate maybe brought out the worst in each other, or Nate
Mm,
brought out the worst in her, or something like that. So it was there was like I kind of read it as there was a reason that we didn't see it because she didn't do that with George. But I also get what you're saying now. But I didn't clock it like that initially.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of a character note thing,
Yeah.
but I did really enjoy this book. I really liked it. I don't know if
I
it's
re
necessarily one I'll reread, but
yeah.
I
I
enjoyed
really
it.
liked it. I bought the Target exclusive one because it's got really I don't think it's in here with me right now. I think it's in the other room, but it has the like beautiful sprayed edges, which like for books with covers as beautiful as Carley Fortune's covers are, they're perfect. They're gorgeous. Artwork, I don't know who her cover artist is, but they fucking kill it every time. And having those like beautiful like sunsetty watercolors on the sprayed edges, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um, gorgeous. So I had when I saw that at Target, I was like, well, I need this. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
had to. I had to. It
yeah.
looks pretty on my shelf.
Yep.
But yeah, I think this was my first like summer book, other than like I've read a few that were set in Italy because I'm gonna be in Italy in a few weeks. But this was my first kind of like standard like summer read. Um, because god damn, it ain't feeling like summertime around here. It's been rainy,
Be
it's been
raining
gloomy. We've had a few days of sun, but like
very here and there, it feels like.
yeah, I'm like chomping at the bit to which I know again, y'all remind me in August that I said this, but like I need sunshine, Texas summer, and I need it now, right
Yeah.
now.
I need
Or
a
at the
cool
very least, by
margarita.
the time I get back from Italy, it better be fucking sunny as hot and hot as shit here.
I think that's likely.
That's what I
So,
want. So by June 23rd, it needs to be
great.
sunny and hot as fuck.
I think there's a high chance of that. So,
I think so too.
uh all right, for our
Um,
next book, didn't we
well, first
decide?
of all, what are you reading right now?
Oh,
Or what are
man.
you reading next?
I am
You can
reading
pass if you want, but I'm using this to tell
now.
you about a hilarious book I'm reading right now.
Well, yeah. No, I started reading. I'm literally like 3 pages into it. I started reading Georgie All the Way by Kate Claiborne.
Nice.
So I got nothing to say about it because I'm literally 3 pages into it. But I've been busy. I'm really not very good at reading while I'm traveling. I feel like I've learned. Um, Especially, well, I mean, we were also in New York. There's like no downtime. All you do is walk and eat and run
Right.
around. So yeah, I'm like 3 pages in. Don't ask me anything about it, but
Yeah.
there it is. So anyway, what are
Okay,
you
so
reading?
I so I have been not in a reading slump, but
Mm.
have been I've actually been reading a lot, but every time I finish a book, I've been super indecisive with what I'm picking up next. I don't know why.
Mm.
Don't know why. But I've been having a really hard time trying to pick what I want to read. So I've been going no thoughts, just vibes when I click on the next thing in my Kindle. So I have a book that comes out at the end of July. I have an advanced copy of it. Um, by the author Maggie North, which I had read another book of hers from 2024. Um, and then she had another one that came out in 2025, but I didn't read that one. But this one comes out in July, and it is called Fossil Feud, and it is about people digging for dinosaur bones, which
Excellent.
I picked it up thinking, like, this sounds stupid and I can't wait. It's actually pretty good. Like, it's not like it's not dumb in any capacity. Um, so yeah, it's these two like paleontologists who are like just they're like the woman has like come across like what she thinks is a dinosaur that's never been found before. Um, anyway, uh, I picked it up thinking like this will be like a silly, fun before bed read, and like obviously it's quite light and like all of our cartoony contemporary romances, but I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that I'm like I'm unironically enjoying it.
There we go.
I'm not enjoying it because it's silly. I'm enjoying it because it's quite enjoyable. And it doesn't come out until July, but it does have 4.37 stars on Storygraph for the folks who have. There's 100 out of 111 people who have read it. So
Damn.
I recommend. I think I'm almost halfway through. And the cover is like super cute.
Oh, that is cute.
I
Okay.
know. So it's like yeah, it's Fossil Feud, and there's a dinosaur print in the O and a heart in the D. It's cute. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Good. Amazing.
It's
I
pretty
love it.
silly, but I'm having a good time. And
I
I'm
love
rooting
it.
for these two and their dinosaur.
And these crazy dinosaur kids.
Yes.
So for our next book, we did, I believe, land on finally doing a Catherine Center.
Yes.
So the shippers.
The shippers, yeah, I couldn't remember. So yeah, let's do that for sure. And then we are gonna have to pre-record the episode after that because it will come out while I'm in Italy. So if y'all have any suggestions for what other book you want us to read, and then when we come back, it'll be Sarah Adler time.
It'll be Sarah Adler time. So exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Well,
that's that.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for
Sorry
watching.
we're late.
You guys, yeah, sorry we're late. You guys got a little glimpse of Mav earlier, but here he is for the people.
Here he is for the people. Oh, Cooper's at my feet, but I'm not going to pick him up because he would get really mad. And I am not going to show you guys my floor because it's really messy in here. Thank you, Mav, for behaving, not being a menace. Good job. Are you trying to make him sniff into the mic?
Yeah. He wouldn't do it.
Nope. That's okay,
He's
though.
really tired because we went to the dog park.
Yes, and he was a good
you were
boy.
there.
I was there.
Was he a good boy at the dog park? I don't know.
He had the best time, though. So.
He had so much fun.
He had a good time.
Well, we'll see y'all when we read The Shippers by Katherine Center. Bye.
Yay! Bye.